Hey, my friends. It's so good to see you again. I thought maybe today I'd show you this area of Polanco. It's become one of my favorite areas to walk. During the pandemic, there was less people here, and it gave me more space to walk without having to wear a mask. Polanco is an upscale neighborhood. I believe it's the north part of Mexico City. We'll be going through these train tracks. There's a path that goes in between all of these buildings that's become really one of my favorite places. That's the Museo Soumaya. It's a fabulous museum. It has, I think, over 60,000 art pieces. They say that it goes over 30 centuries of time. It's known as one of the most complete art collections maybe in the world. Obviously the building is gorgeous. When you go inside, the stairs go in a circle, and so you can just go around and around up to the top. It's really innovative. This is the Jackhammers. I think it's like a modern art museum. I always wondered why this car was upside down, about to go into the water. I've never been here, but I think I should go. I love how people take our temperature now, and it looks like, they're about to shoot you. When I first moved here, I thought that the Soumaya was about the Mayans, but it's, as I said before, a very complete collection of beautiful art. It's named after the founder, Carlos Slim, one of the richest men in the world. He devoted that to his deceased wife in her honor. Right over there in that little open area, they've put a bunch of exercise bikes. When the pandemic hit, I believe the gym that was there moved outside so that they could open safely. And so sometimes you look over and there'll be 30 people exercising with all their heart. And I feel a little guilty with my churros. Hola amigas, ¿cómo estás? Buen suerte hoy. Ten un muy bonito día. Hasta luego. I think that a lot of people misunderstand that when somebody's out, Americans would say begging for money, but you could say looking for or selling their experience for money. That counts as a job, right? That counts as a job, and that counts as not being a criminal. And times are really tough. And I don't see the difference between a sales job and that sales job. And I personally really believe that I should support them to the best of my ability and respect them. Whatever the sales job you have, if it's telemarketing or selling BMWs, you deserve the respect of somebody at least being nice to you, or in her case, giving her a few cents so that she can start her shift on a good note. You'll hear the jackhammers and construction going on. This area has been building a lot over the last probably 5 years, 10 years, and nothing has stopped it this year. A lot of the people that use this path are probably people who work here. One downside to Polanco is that it's such a upscale neighborhood that there really isn't a lot of access to metros or to buses. There is one metro on the other side of town, but if you work in one of these apartment complexes or businesses, you have to travel back home. And those buses tend to be, I think, at the end of this area, or their neighborhood is at the end of this walk. They've divided the walkways into one area for bicycles and one area for people who are just walking their several legs. But I want to walk here for a little bit. Hopefully I won't get in anyone's way or get run over. Buenas tardes, caballero. In the United States, there's a lot of guys who, they wear cowboy clothes, and they live cowboy culture. But the truth is that the realest cowboys that I've ever seen are here in Mexico. And when you look back at history, some of us in the United States need to, understand that cowboys were Mexicanos. And, of course, there were African Americans and there were European Americans, but we've kind of pigeonholed and, left the reality out of the true picture. It's my new ASMR channel with Jackhammers. I hope that wasn't too loud, but you really can't appreciate or experience Mexico without just accepting the noise. I remember one time I recorded this message and it was really quiet to me. I said, great, perfect, I'll record this message and send it to this person in the United States. And then when I heard the message again, it was so loud, but I've become so accustomed that I thought, well, this is a perfectly peaceful moment to send this message. This area in Polanco has some of the nicer stores, most famous restaurants in Mexico City. But it's really an area like this that I think is the nicest. Just an area to walk. And now I'm going to walk down the train tracks. Which obviously is never smart, but I feel like it's pretty safe. The train that comes through here goes very slow. See the birds flying over our head. But like I was saying, this Polanco is an area that has BMW, Nestle, some of the larger corporations and American corporations have put their businesses here. My personal hope is that that's not a child that did that, but actually a tagger. He was like, hey man, I love smiling dinosaurs. I'm putting it down. I'd like to see more street graffiti come from that place of joy and creativity. That sign back there, it said Parque Linea. That's what you would look for if you're visiting Mexico City and want to visit this area of Polanco. Ora, ora. Kick flip. Do a kick flip. Bonito dia, mi amigo. Mexico City has some really great skate parks in all the different parts. Horaza, here in Polanco, Cuauhtemoc. I don't know if there's other ones in other parts of the city. But what if I was a famous skater and that guy's like, oh, I'm busy eating? On the other hand, it's probably pretty obvious that I'm not a famous anything. But I am enjoying my walks. Here we have one of the little soccer fields that they build for everybody. Great designs. Those are the guys who made it. They did a great job, or at least they made the art. Maybe not the whole thing. You don't see a lot of handball courts here like you do in California. So it's nice to see one of those. It's the political season, so they got the people walking around and going to the stoplights and holding up signs for their favorite political candidate, or maybe more likely the candidate who is paying them to do that. I don't get a vote, so I'll just leave it up to the society and trust that everything will be okay. I think it's pretty cool looking when you have like a businessman or a businesswoman and they're dressed in like really nice clothes, but then they have those like really big tattoos like on their legs. Perfecto. Hola, amigas. Buenas tardes. I think that's a really cool style. I believe somewhere in this area will be the next U.S. Embassy. The U.S. Embassy is currently on Paseo de Reforma, and it's going to be in this area. It was originally planned to be in this area already. They did a ribbon cutting and got started, but it was canceled by then President Donald Trump, and so the embassy has remained where it is now. I wanted to show you this. It's one of the unique things about Mexico is they're like miniature churches. I don't know how it's used. I don't know if it's just like this, but it's beautiful. It could be a place where maybe somebody who cleans the area can pray, or maybe it's a place where there are prayer services. But it's one of the unique aspects of Mexico is the placement of areas of devotion to Jesus and to Mother Mary, and they often are just really beautiful. Buenas tardes, señor. I believe this entire path or this area here is about 4 kilometers, and it's relatively new to Mexico City. I believe they may have started construction in 2016. I believe the train that came through here was the Cuernavaca train. I think it's impossible that the train actually comes through here. There may be another one that hits that place where we first started the walk, but it would be impossible to come here, right? One of the most overlooked but important aspects of our city is those people who are cleaning. And here we have another prayer altar to the Queen of Mexico. Perdón, señor. Buenas tardes. Buen suerte hoy. This football field is something I wanted to show you. I think it shows us the history of Tenochtitlan, the pyramids and the lakes. This is what Mexico City looked like when Cortez arrived. Buenas tardes. Perdóname. Es hermoso. And it really is beautiful how it shows the history. What's that? We have a memory, or we remember. I think for a lot of us who come from countries that don't have that memory, like you look at the United States and a revolution, and we pretend like we kind of take over this country, and our history starts in 1776, but that was 270 years after the invasion history started. That's not even the beginning of this actual history of Tenochtitlan and Teotihuacan and the Mayans. I don't know why, but it's always such a nice feeling to walk on a football field. These are little houses that they build for the police. Very secure. I believe they come with toilets and maybe even an area to sleep. And that's the patrol for the neighborhood. Here's one of the more traditional markets, the Granada marcado. Beautiful style, and the markets are different than what we're used to, but the shopping experience is great. To be able to meet each person, and then the butcher tries to help you find the meat that you want, if not that day, the next day. Here's one of what we would call it a freeway. They only have a couple here in Mexico City. It's how they have stores underneath the freeway. This is La Esperanza, the sweet bread store, a great place to buy friends gifts. All hundreds of different types of breads. Well, it looks like we're about to come to an end of our time together, but I want to thank you very much for spending this little bit of time with me.